Hello everybody and welcome back to another new vlog. Thank you for joining me once again on what is actually my last vlog. Yes, it's a sad day folks. Today is actually my last vlog of 2022, that is. I'll still be shooting vlogs again in 2023, don't worry about that. Still the same consistency, still the same number of vlogs, 2 every week if I can. But at least 1 a week in the future. And I'm wishing you all a happy and eventful and healthy new year for 2023. I look forward to seeing you all again the other side of the new year, and making more and more content for you. But really today is all about a bit of information really. I want to tell you about how I'm going to be changing things up a little bit in 2023. I think it's always interesting to have a look back at what you've been doing and see if there are any areas where you can improve and try and make things a little bit better. And going into a new year like we are now is a very good time to do that. I'll talk more about exactly what I'm going to do in just a moment, but in the meantime I'm going to look around for a few photos to take because that's the real reason I'm out today. So let me show you this composition that I've got here because it's quite an interesting one, and I just kind of walked down here sort of by mistake really, just to get out of the way of other people. But what I've noticed here is I've got this tree here right in the middle of the image, which is an obvious composition really, and ordinarily I might consider shooting this in portrait orientation because obviously the tree is taller than it is wide. However, in this case I think the wider landscape image is a much better option because, as you see just to the right of this tree, I've got this clump of other trees in the distant background which are kind of anchoring this tree quite nicely. And then as we look over to the left side of the image, we've got this path here that runs up here along the left side of the tree itself, which is also an interesting leading line, but also creating a framework between the path and the trees on the right hand side, and keeping this tree in the middle of the image as the main focal point. So I've shot that at f4, and I think I've had to exposure bracket here because there's quite a lot of dynamic range. You'll notice of course the blue sky with all the clouds in it here, and I want to capture all the detail and contrast in that as well. But if I do that, then obviously I'm going to be underexposed for the tree itself, and therefore you're not going to see any of the detail at all on the tree. So I've had to exposure bracket these 3 separate exposures, one at a 500th of a second, one at a 250th of a second, and one at 1/125th of a second. And hopefully by doing that I can capture all of the dynamic range from the blue sky through to the detail on the tree and all of the colour around it as well. I also quite like this heathland in the front of the tree, which basically is also acting as a bit of an anchor point, because obviously in the foreground there's nothing at all there other than this path that runs up the left hand side of the tree itself. But if I kind of bring all of this heathland into play as well, then that also gives us an interesting composition. So I've taken that shot now. I'm going to move on and see if there's anything else, and I'll see you when I get there. You'll have to excuse any road noise or any breeze that's blowing through this area at the moment. I'm going to explain that to you in just a moment, but basically I'm standing right next to this road here that runs through the park. Next to it you've got these tree trunks that have been cut down, silver birch tree trunks that have been cut down to separate the road from the golf course over there behind this line of silver birch trees. And what I quite like is this line of silver birch trees with the line of the road all leading your eye towards a destination somewhere in the distance, somewhere in the future. It just looks really, really pretty. It's something that I've never ever photographed before, and it's something that I wouldn't even consider photographing before. I don't know why, for some reason it just captured my attention today, but I'm going to stop here and take a photo of it anyway. Every now and then there are cars coming past along this road. it is used a lot by cars that are travelling through the park. There's a car park just a few hundred yards away from me going one way, and then going another way there's a gate into the park where there's not really anywhere else to park until you get to this car park here. So I'm fairly close to what is essentially a main road through the park, and there's always cars coming by. That does mean, of course, that when I'm taking the shot I'm going to have to wait until the cars have gone by, so there's no car in the scene. I don't know, maybe that would look even better, but I'm not even going to try that today. I'd rather have nothing in the scene at all and just these trees and the road leading your eye towards a destination somewhere in the future. But obviously, apart from that, I'm quite impressed with the sunlight. I mentioned earlier we've got blue sky and clouds. Well, every now and then the sun goes behind a cloud, but then when it pops out again it really lights up these silver birch trees here, and they pop with colour along the side of the road. So that's something I'm hoping to capture as well. So I'll set up here and take this shot. I hope you like this one. I mentioned earlier about switching a few things up during 2023. One of the things that I want to switch up is how I use social media. Obviously a lot of people who know me and who may be following me on my social media platforms, you'll know that for about the past 5 or 6 years I've been doing a daily photography challenge where I take a photo and post the photo across social media platforms every single day to satisfy this photography challenge. I don't mind doing that, I quite enjoy it. Unfortunately, what it's doing is it's forcing me to think about exactly how many photos I'm taking every time I'm out doing a vlog or a walk, to ensure that I satisfy this daily photo challenge and make sure I've got at least one photo for every day in between individual vlogs that are coming out. So that's making it a little bit difficult, and it's kind of hampering creativity a little bit. So instead, what I'm going to be doing, I'll continue posting photos as and when I think it's appropriate to do so, and when I want you to see the photos that I've taken. But instead of that, I'll be using social media to post about events I might be going to, various different things I might be doing, plans I've got for the next few days and so on. So instead of showing you a picture every single day, I'll be giving you some information about what's going on using social media instead. And that may also not be every single day of the week, it may also be only 3 or 4 days of the week, but it'll kind of complement what I'm doing anyway, and hopefully I'll be able to get on and start creating more and more photos and content for you guys to look at. One of the other things I'd like to do in 2023 to switch things up a little bit is slightly more engagement with you guys. Now that obviously requires a little bit more help and support from you guys as well, but don't worry, it's not going to cost you anything other than perhaps a couple of minutes of your time. So what I would ask is that if you're watching this vlog now, if you're not already subscribed, just think about hitting that subscribe button and subscribe to my channel, because believe me, you'll get much more out of it if you actually subscribe to the channel, because there's so much more content going on all the time. But also, if you enjoy the video, please remember you can always hit the thumbs up button just under the video there, and that tells YouTube that I'm popular, and YouTube will then decide to recommend my content to more and more people, and then eventually I'll become more and more popular and start becoming a much more popular YouTuber, hopefully. But also, after you've watched the video, if you could just interact in some way by making some sort of comment or sharing the video amongst your own social networks, that'd be great, because that kind of interaction really does help. And other than that, just keep supporting the channel, keep watching my vlogs, and keep enjoying what I'm doing. Guys, I'd like to thank you for all of the encouragement and support that you've given me over the past 12 months in 2022. I really do appreciate it. Without you guys, I wouldn't bother doing YouTube anyway. There'd be no point, because at the end of the day, it's because of your comments, your suggestions and your interaction that I'm inspired to go out and continue creating more and more content for the channel. But also I'm inspired to go out and continue creating more and more images. I'd like to continue building up a much bigger portfolio of images that I can then find some way of monetizing my content, my channel, my portfolio and pretty much everything, so I can start actually earning some money from photography. So with your support I can carry on doing that, and I'll have the time and the patience to do it, to be quite honest with you, because without you, like I said, there's absolutely no point doing YouTube at all. So thank you once again for everything you've done for me during 2022. Please keep up that support and encouragement in 2023, and I look forward to seeing you again on another vlog very soon. And don't forget, of course, to like and subscribe, share this content, share this video, and make as many comments as you like. I'll try and answer all of your comments going forward. And from me, guys, I look forward to seeing you again on another vlog very soon. Bye for now.